Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, covering Season 48, 3 vs 3 Grand Arena Championship Week 2. I'm joined here by my co-host Dagger and TJ. Sasha Isha is not able to join us at the time of this recording, although that does remind me, feel free to give us your notes. Okay, we'll see if he gives us his notes before this closes out, and we'll be sure to get his thoughts in. All right, yes, let's hear from you guys. What's going on, Dagger?
This is our first try. Been a while.
Yeah, we've been doing a pretty good job of having the whole crew available. So, I mean, it's pretty fortunate that it took until the holidays for us to really hit a crunch like this. I'm grateful.
Well, I was saying it's our first take. This is the first time we haven't had to redo the.
I don't know. I'm getting motion sickness watching the thing, so I might have to step away to make poopies because Taz has some BS on the screen. Not a fan. This is a GAC prevalent match, and here we are.
It's true. I just have to get this out of the way, and I might as well do it now because I'm not going to hate it less later. I promise you that.
There you go. You're good.
Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me.
I just want to let you know I'm not watching because I'm not trying to catch a headache while talking about Gak.
Oh, they're gonna kill me.
And I'm not trying to die of boredom.
They killed.
While you go 1, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 1.
All right. Anyways, let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Yep.
All right. So, what worked this week, Dagger? Let's have it.
I'm gonna be real short this week when it comes to the first two topics.
You're gonna be real short regardless, but you'll also be brief.
I am first off. I am a solid 5'8", and I'll hear nothing to the contrary.
That's right.
I'm not angry. You're angry.
Right.
I'm glad I'm sitting down. It would hurt my neck to look down on you.
He's allowed to wear wedges if he wants to. Nobody tell him different.
But to answer your question, though, I played one round this week, and he didn't place any GLs. So, smooth sailing outside of it. Took me 6 attacks to get through fleet because, it's me.
Ooh, that's gruesome. Well, we'll cover that in the next section. But there was no other, really great attacks that you wanted to cover.
I mean, I think the hardest thing I had to decide was where I was going to apply my GLs versus his non-GLs.
Okay, all right. Just overwhelming offense. All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
TJ. No, it's all right. TJ, what went good for you? What broke the mold?
So because of the thing, we'll talk about it. Up into round 3, everything's pretty much stayed the same. It's not being a lot of surprises right now. We're not getting to do a lot of experimentation because of how everything's rounding out. So I don't get to give a lot of great things. Anything spectacular? No. There's nothing crazy. I can't give you any. Everything that we do has been the same stuff that it is, right? It's there's been nothing crazy. Well, it's unfortunate. I want to give more, but right now, the way this is buckled in, the what's not working is going to be a lot longer than the what is working.
I believe that. I do. All right. Well, for my part, stuff that worked this week, Gas Rex 5s. I fought Zio's, I guess, alt account, RH Tony V, for the first round. He set Gas Rex 5s, and this was the moment I've been waiting for, right? With Gar ISC. TJ, you popped in on Discord that day. That was the day I wasn't streaming. But you urged me to try it, and I tried it, and I threw in range, if you recall, just for good measure. And my God, what a shit stomp that was. That was 56 banners.
It made me say, if I see it, they're dying. 100%. It was don't put that is, because it was that was beautiful.
Now dig this. I've heard the scuttlebutt that with that level 3 with the potency, if you have that set on your gas, that's going to make those dazes land on Gar ISC, and now you've got a problem. So there does seem to be an impediment there if somebody's enterprise.
Dagger called that out. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Taz is also out here making TJ actually look at his mods and see if he ever farmed tenacity once.
Oh, I definitely do that. I do that every day. So I'm okay. But it's true that Dagger did call it out. But but it's true, right? But watching it play out, holy hell, if you're going to put that on defense, you better be doing something with that potency because I'm telling you, does it have tenacity on your stuff? It didn't matter. They didn't go. I watched Tash's thing, and I'm not going to call his stuff crazy modded. It's good, but it's not like I would call some of the others. And they
I
went.
agree. Test shit is bad.
Yeah, but they went, and then they never went, right?
Yes.
And then he came back around and popped him one time, and yeah, that was avoided, but it didn't matter because you were so far ahead that Gas went one more time, and then he went no more. All of it. That would be one I would want to like had on YouTube for people to watch. It was that good.
It was fantastic, and I regret that was, I think, one of the only days left that I was still working. I'm on leave for the rest of the year now, so I had to do the needful that day, and I couldn't be there on stream. But that was a good one, so I wanted to highlight that. Ray Swallow team. So JMK Cat continues to be the solution. I just want to point out that GK, while it might be the standard, man, Mace, and I have a well-kitted Mace, so I'll cop to that up front. But Mace was just indispensable for holding down Swallows this week. That means that GK for me went unused, and that presents some interesting options here going into the immediate future because I have some fun plans.
I will present you with a solution for that during the takeaways.
Well, good. That's fantastic. That's what the people want. What else did I want to go? Of course,
I had a similar thing where I don't use GK in threes, and it just feels bad.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody, your mind can harken back to like JKL Shock GK, but the same rules apply. If you were going to set that, it's got to be like an absolutely cracked out speed Shock T. So anyway, DTMG Storm Shore. That was the new super threat team for the week, right? Round 1, I used Reva GI 7th Sister. It was bottom front, so I had to take the gamble. I didn't need that elsewhere, and indeed that proved to be the case. Round 2, I used Gas Rex 5s. The Grand Inquisitor fight, that was 57 banners, so it was perfect. Then you have round 2, I used Gas Rex 5s. That was 52. We barely made it, man. And that Stormtrooper slapped the shit out of me. Early in the fight, I tried to focus DTMG. Complete error. You got to just get rid of Storm and go with it from there. Lean into the fact that once you saw through him, DTMG cannot bring him back, and that will be enough. I think he only does it to Mandalorians anyway, right? Doesn't he only bring back Mandalorians, or does he bring back, like, troopers?
Pretty sure he brings back troopers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so that was round 2. And then Brock was my opponent round 2, and he was kind enough to share that against my own same DTMG Scout Storm with the 400% defense to offense, Kron, all the goods, the Scout level 9, the buffs level 3, all that good stuff. He used Radis, Jin, and Baze with no Datacron, 57 banners. I myself was in a situation to do that today, and I had a weak set 12 crown. It was buffs on 3, but that was it. It was like a level 3 crown, right? And that's what I had at my disposal at this point that made sense. And damn, let me check. I'll check the banners for you right now. Damn if it wasn't 57. So, wow, just what a clobbering. There's a couple other good things to highlight. Let me check here real quick.
I used Iden.
Oh yeah, Iden on DTMG.
57.
See,
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Feel free.
I also saw somebody veers it.
Oh, real? Wow. That seems pretty surprising. TJ, feel free to chime in. Did you have any breakthrough teams on DTMGs that you encountered?
It's going to be the same, and I haven't got to try them yet, but it makes perfect sense what you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
I got to completely overkill because he said it in the back. I will say the one that tricked me and even made me want to set it week 3 was putting Death instead of Storm with the Scout. And the idea is that, yeah, it's true that they're going to go through because they can die and come back. Well, if Death catches you with the right timing death mark, which they did in my fight, my Baze was no more. Did I still win? Yes. But it's a banner eater, right? Because if he catches you right, and it's like, because they're going to die. They're pushing so much damage into you that it's just like it's gonna catch you.
Yeah.
So that death mark on that death trooper doing that was a sly one. It still worked. I still got it to do it. But AdRad, I guarantee you. So, but this is where it comes into the strategy section, right?
Well,
It's like anything else. I don't know. I got to see mine.
Okay, yeah, you had the luxury.
If for some reason it worked, right? So for some reason, C's confirmed to kill Gideon, so it's good.
Okay,
I will.
That's good
I
to
will
know.
give you
I
one.
would not have guessed that.
Yeah. I'll give you one that I did use round one, thanks to Brock, because we were talking about it, and I forgot about it. Dash on Zori. So still love it. Still a great combo, and the harder you can put in the comp. We discovered it together, but the trick caught me round two where I wasn't paying attention. No revive on the Zori. We'll definitely mess up the counter. But yeah, dash on Zori, dash, Vandor, and Scando. Still love it. If you can do either ability block, I think we talked about, or the cooldown on reset, which is obviously a rarer one, it just flies through. They start, but unless you have a super fast Finn, you eventually start to bypass them. If your Finn is blazing fast, and I'm saying hero Finn, they can actually continue to loop you, and they'll actually put you in a stun lock where you can't get out of it.
Wow, that sounds hideous, dude. Yeah, I'm into that. That sounds fun. All right.
That sounds an awful lot like why you just use Night Sisters and move on.
Speaking of Night Sisters, I want to highlight another attack here. Finn Zori Resistance Hero Finn. So when they're wearing a set 11, it kind of doesn't seem to matter so much whether it's high prot or high defense, high health steal. But if they got that buffs 3 and any decent orientation of stats, that is really difficult to Night Sister. However, I had an opponent who set a Scoundrel Cron there, as you were mentioning. And it was, stacking offense on 3, ability block 6. And 57 banners there with Mother Talzin. So I'll point that out. That is an exception for this season. Because Mother Talzin's, I know we've talked about this off camera plenty, about how disappointing Night Sisters have been this season. So
I'm also going to comment.
Okay.
Think about this.
Let's have it.
If they put the no revive on there and Zori catches your stuff just right, that can go just as bad. So that works.
I believe that.
Double. That's what I'm saying, right? It's double suited. Yeah, ability block. Oh no, but Night Sisters can live. Well, if they get caught slipping one time because they can loop you.
No, I think you got a real point there. And if I'd encountered that, I don't know that I would have tried that. You very.
But remember, if they have the no revive, it means they don't have the 300% defense, which means it opens it up to Veers again.
Right. That you see, but that's what I'm saying, right? And that's where it's like when we talk about it, where I caught my opponent not paying attention and just going in is going to catch you slipping, and I think that's getting all of us. Oh no! Why?
By that statement.
Because I'm getting myself attacked. It's self-inflicted. So we'll probably need to move to the other stuff, but these things and these tricks are really catching people. Where it's just take the 2 seconds, do the review.
And while we're on the topic, because you talked shit yesterday or last week, Taz.
Yes.
Wampa redeemed herself, and you can eat all of my ass, including the whole.
Yeah. I forget what I said, but I believe it. I'll own it here and now.
I autoed. I didn't manual. I autoed, and boy howdy, that.
What did you auto down?
Like Iden plus R9 tanks with a bunch of defense and offense and a bunch of defense.
I mean, yeah, fair. Man,
I timed out last week because I didn't. I tried to manual it because I'm a dumbass.
Yeah. I think I haven't encountered an Iden on defense yet this season, so I think that one's worn out its welcome where I'm at right now. All right, other attacks I wanted to highlight because there are some other winners here. We have to talk about this thing that I guess he didn't invent it, but that's how it was brought to me, was this It's Just Ian video. One of my patrons linked this video to me during the fight versus Brock. I got to the back wall, and, my slacker was drawn out, and there was Leia in the back, Leia Drogan R2. What was I to do? Well, it just so happens that, somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, and I just dismissed it as a ridiculous notion, but then I saw on Swugga.gg, Reva, Starkiller, and Savage versus that Leia comp was a dub last week for at least a handful of people. And then somebody in the chat was like, yeah, right, Striker, I think it was like, yeah, right, no, there's a video on this, and he linked me the video, and I watched it. I was like, okay, I think we can do this. And then I went and did it, and it was like 56. It was glorious. absolutely fantastic. I even considered doing it today, but I ended up doing Slacker Crew Malicos instead against that Leia, and I think it worked out just fine because we had a great clear today as well. But
it's expensive but effective. I've heard chatter of that, and I've talked to someone about
I've
it
got
too.
to personally watch it, so I was fortunate enough. Brock was doing it and going through the thing, so I got to see the fight. And here's where it actually gets very interesting because what's left is actually a great team, right?
yes,
You don't have Riva, sucks, but what you have left is GI, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th to start playing with your Inquisitors to really put back another top-notch killer. So being able to do that setup, yeah, you get to use Star Killer there, but having your inks back with these UFU setups, oh man, he punched up on another. I can't even remember the team. It was like another monster team that otherwise would have stopped, and he 57 that too. So it's like getting enough meta to kill that and being able to put your resources. Again, I don't get to claim it, but watching it and seeing it's like, oh, the strategy is huge. That if you can get that to work and afford to do that. It's got a lot of promise of being able to kill another team where it's like we're not talking like low C. I'm talking about high B teams that are actually, if you don't have the right thing, are going to stomp you out, like a Han Chewy or something where that burst damage and you just can't catch me. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, now we're just going to start seeing. See, the only downside to talking about stuff like this, and I was chatting with a guy who said sometimes he feels like we may give away too much. I said, I assure you we don't give away everything. But this is one of those things where it's annoying to talk about because anybody listens to this, because it's not just us talking about it, right? It's other people too. But it's like, man, I don't want to face Slacker like Cal Crew or Slacker Cal Malicos on defense next week.
Yeah.
Can we just agree that this doesn't exist during this 3v3?
Oh man, the 5 vs 5 variant gives me heartburn.
PTSD.
Yeah, and PTSD.
But that's kind of what I mean. Is
both.
that's the annoying part about talking about it. Is
Well,
giving
all
it
right,
even
fair
more
enough.
legs.
But we're starting to wander off course
I don't
here.
disagree that it's out there. I'm just saying it's annoying because now there's a fair chance you have to plan for Slacker next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, we're wandering off course. I want to move through the rest of the segment because there's still another couple of notes here. Let's see here.
Can we just, while you're looking at, can we just agree that Task screwed it up for everybody by putting it on video so it's there for the world to see? So this is technically Task's fault.
What are you talking about? I just told you I took it off and it's just in video.
And we're on plotting and scheming with Task, so it's on his stream twice, so it's technically his fault.
By the way,
Task
I also wanted to shout out.
While he gives us a detailed rundown of his entire week's GAC, and then he's also screwing us by telling everybody how to beat our
guys. It's literally in my history. Like you could say, and I also streamed these rounds. Like there are no secrets with this. Like that's why I'm talking about it. The cat's out of the bag,
and that's why it's double your fault.
All right, so listen.
And it's mostly your fault because the cat's out of the bag.
Sure. I mean, I took literal known things, but that's fine. To your point, TJ, about that remaining Grand Inquisitor team, if you're going to do that Riva Starkiller Savage versus Leia, Aesop informed me today and shared a video even showing how he used GI 7th and 5th take on CLS, Chewie, and Drogon with the Super Drogon Cron.
I saw his notes about that. Yeah, I saw it in the chat, man.
I'll link you that video when we're done here. Remind me. I will make sure to get that to the both of you. That was a cool watch. Of course, it was something like real casual, like 355% defense on his Cron. Right. So that's why I after watching, it was like, I've only got like something like 30% defense starting left, so probably not today. And then we went with something else that worked out. But I wanted to mention that because that's speaking right to the thing you hit on. Armor, Paz, and Grogu. For the second time I've encountered it this season. I think for the second time, Boss Grief Mando worked it out. And I guess that's about it for the standout ones, because that's everything else is pretty standard fare. Okay.
Really quick, did Bounty Hunters make the cut there against the Armor team because you actually got to use them? Or was that surprising that it worked?
It's that I recognize that there's no possible other place where I would want to see them used. So if I had any issue with it, I had the latitude to clean it up regardless. So if I was going to use them, it was going to be there. And then it was a 57 anyway.
Okay. I was just clarifying if that was something you were surprised by, or if that was something you were just like,
No,
okay.
it was well. What it was is it's like at that point in the fight, I actually had forgotten how good Boss Grief Manda was, but then I like remembered. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm just gonna stand here, and as long as I don't try to actually pound through Paz, I should be okay. And indeed, it worked exactly as I remembered. So, and that was only the
Yeah, and
second
the only
time
reason
I've done it. So I mean, yeah.
yeah, and the only reason I'm asking is I was under the impression that this segment was teams that surprised you or overperformed.
Well, it's what stood out, and it's like that's only the second time encountering it, so whatever. It was worth
Sorry, I
mentioning.
don't have a lot to talk about, so I'm just trolling. I'll stop.
Good, good, good. All right, so you're not going to send me any crap, saying it's good if we can keep things a little more on point, right? You would
Eat
never do
shit.
anything like that. Okay, good,
No,
good,
no,
good, good,
that sounds an
good.
awful lot like something a really petty person would do, and I'm not that
Yeah,
kind
that
of
would be
person.
incredibly spiteful and hypocritical. Besides, anyway, segment 2, gentlemen. What failed? What didn't work out? So Dagger again likes to be pretty clean. I'm sure you'll have fairly little to say. We'll get you out of the way, Dagger, because I know TJ's got
Fleet
a
is
lot to
AIDS.
expand on.
Fleet is AIDS. That is all. Move
Fleet
on.
as AIDS. What did you do? What happened? What failed you?
I actually took Profundity in against. I thought I clicked on the triple attacker, but I clicked on Leviathan, and
No.
yep. But I was remember this is the one where I was in a rush.
I'm
Right.
bad.
This
Yeah.
was the fifth. This was the 50-minute gap.
Oh, I bet.
But
Oh,
we
I
still
bet. I
got there.
bet.
We still got there. We still ended up getting there. We got the full clear. We won.
No doubt.
But yeah,
No
I just
doubt.
had no time to play GAC this week. That's what really didn't work because I didn't have time this week to play a lot of GAC.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, TJ, stand and deliver. Face your
Yeah,
fate.
I got to give one real quick that I thought I forgot about. That was nice seeing Darth Revan, BSF, and Savage on defense, and being able to take a Malgus with the cheap team subset, being able to kill that team was a pretty nice 57. I
Nice.
just thought about that. I don't have the history, so I can't just look at it openly.
Okay.
For the what that didn't work and why I bring this in the segue. Goddamn Seer continues to be just the bane, man. It's like give me always works. No, it doesn't. So I was like, all right, so we're doing this whole meta right now, this BS. So I took Malgus with 45% health. So it was a strong setup. Uh, it wasn't Cal on the team. It wasn't even like a Visas Kron. It was Seer, Visas, and ATF. Now, it was a good Kron. It was a Seer Kron, and it had 150% defense on there. It wasn't the stacking 200% defense. I couldn't get through the team with Malgus, of all things. It's like I've never had it fail on me, and that held where I could not push through it fast enough. And eventually they looped around to where I left them for too long. And eventually the bonks weren't going to do it. I kept getting close, and then she would get a sliver, and then she would out to my fourth or fifth bonk. So that did not work, which was pretty upsetting. The other one I already talked about the dash because I didn't check the damn datacron. And so all of a sudden my characters weren't coming back, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, let me look at the datacron. Oh, no revive. Sure, of course, logic. Um, I think those are the
You
biggest
had that one
standouts.
coming then, bud.
I did. And that's why I tell you, I only say the things out of personal experience. So if I'm saying like check the cron or do something like that, it's because I didn't check the damn
You
cron.
paid the
So
blood price.
I did. And it's like I had to back out. It didn't cost me the fight, but it was still those little silly things. AA on defense. And I'm going to say like this as a poopy or a dum-dum. So here, this is AA on defense.
Scandalous.
I had Iden, but because I was already going through the motions, I completely bypassed and forgot it. So I went back trying to do Nest. And I was like, I know it should be fine. So I took Kira Nest just to make sure there was offset with Scoundrel Basic, just to make sure I could get it. Nope. Timed out. They were too fast. They looped in too much. And where you think it would work, nope. Of course, I had Iden the whole time. So I could have easily 57'd it, no problem.
Man.
I'm going to say one that was Chef Kiss good, and I know it can be there, and I got super close. Star Killer in the back. I took Night Sisters by mistake, and I had everybody dead except for Starkiller, and just inked across to where I couldn't get it fast enough. But that felt like a really good setup where I should have been able to get the one shot possibly, which was pretty damn cool. Everything else did what it was supposed to do. No poopsies other places and all that, but it was like, yeah, because I'll go 2-1 this week, which is fine. But I'm just playing a meta I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's threes has never been forgiving for error of any kind. So I feel you. I do get it. For my own part, we had a pretty good week, guys. Round 1, no dropped attacks. Round 2, DR, BSF Malik, Bastila, Jedi Cal, and Old Ben. I ended up having to clean up, I want to say DR and BSF, and I did that with Wampa. But I dropped that because I want to say at that point in the fight, I had like really hoopty cron to put them on. And so, once you get that first death mark, that's all she wrote for your one shot, I think. And then against Chirpa, Paplu, and Nisa, I learned a good lesson there. I saw Radis Jin Bays had some win rate against that last week. And I just dum-dum myself, right? I bided my time. I just made sure everybody was cool, and then we got to Hope, and then I used Baze's AoE Dispel to take the protection off everyone, nuked with Hope, and imagine my shock when the Ewoks came back when I thought they should have been down and stayed down. Turns out that permakill thing's only against Empire, and I use it often enough against Empire things that I don't think about that difference. So, but nonetheless, there was win rate for it, which suggests to me that all I had to have done differently was put in the effort to have killed at least one of those Ewoks, hopefully 2 of them, once each before you get to Hope. And then the problem would have solved itself. So good lesson there. Round 3, again, we were pretty clean, so I guess not a lot to talk about for getting brooded. We were actually very good on fleet as well. Our lowest banners was 65 with, no, that wasn't me, 66 was profundity on profundity. That was my single lowest one this week, and that sucked. And you saw that, Dagger. That was today. That was a mess. I think you saw that too,
Yeah.
TJ. That was just a mess.
Yeah,
I need to stop watching your fleet because you're getting.
Dude, it gives
Yeah.
me anxiety, man. You see it, it's just like, I'm just going to sit there
Oh.
and watch Han. Just watch the days go by.
Yeah,
Just,
no, it
Dude,
felt
my
like Dagger was
Han is
playing it.
unemployed. My
Yeah.
Han is like straight up unemployed.
I'm
Just
telling you,
bumming.
it felt like I even had a comment. It's like it felt like watching Dagger's luck or my ground game.
dude,
just
dude,
like
for
because it
real.
just ate shit, and I'm like, God damn, that is oof.
it was...
Like it's like Han. What do you even fucking do here?
It's like it's like 4 or 5 turns in a row of him just like, yep,
Yeah.
that looks
they're
like an
they're
ally
just
doing
like,
something.
and they're just assisting like there's no tomorrow, watching your stuff just,
Just
go one by one.
crushing me, just wrecking my guts.
Yep.
Man, it was terrible.
Yep.
Anyway, segment 3, standout defenses. This is always fun. Dagger, what saved your bacon? What held the line for you when nothing else would?
Oh, let me spin you a tale of I may not have had time to play my gags, but my opponents had plenty of time. And let me assure you, it took them a lot of.
All right.
Oh, my Ewoks round 1 had 3 holds. Beck was not one shot. I think Beck wasn't one shot all week. Qui-Gon wasn't one shot all week. Man, what? There was another one I forget off the top of my head because, like TJ said, the history's not up, and it. Tuskens and Tuskens held once for like 4 or 5 fights.
Nice.
And then the Malgus DR split in front of Fleet. If you remember, I moved up in front of Fleet this week.
Yeah.
And that proved to be taxing.
Really?
I don't think they didn't get a whole lot. They didn't get a whole lot of holds, but lots of like 51s, and there was a 49, I think, or 49 or 50. Yeah, just lots of just really nasty, sloppy like wins on those 2 teams.
All right. I dig it. I'm into it. What else you got?
Oh no, that was it. Mostly Beck and mostly Qui-Gon.
Okay. God, I'm so excited about that team. That team is... There's so much potential. There's so much potential going forward. All right. Enough from me on that. TJ, your standouts.
So Jabba basically won my round one to the effect of they couldn't do it. Killed Bausch one time and then 7 to 8 fights on it. Tuskens all week been just monsters at keeping everything together. Riva helped out and held because I did some little tricky stuff to keep them together. And then I was telling Dagger that this round 3 the animals won, and here's why I say that.
Yeah.
It's no humans. No humans held. Ewoks held. This is an efficiency player. Ewoks held. Right? Top only top thing to hold, Ewoks. Bottom, Tuskens. Only thing to hold, Tuskens. In the back, Tarful.
Hold on, Tuskens are humans. I will not hear the spirit.
They are not. They are creatures of habit. They may be sand people, but killing them humans, I would not.
Wow, we're usually straight up racist to Tuskens.
I'm a Tuskus. Right. That's right. I am 100% Tuskus. They all look alike.
That is terrible.
And then Tarful in the back.
That's the fucking truth.
Tarful in the back got me a hold. And then to stand out, going with my gut on it, triple attacker got me a hold. I will take those, and that allowed me to come back over, and efficient TJ took the day for round 3. So,
all right, super efficient TJ. He can be reformed.
No, I can't. Go against the grain. Let's not lie to one another.
There's hope.
TJ out here in 3s, putting up scores and start with the number 2. Look
that shit don't happen. Yeah, dude. That is completely lies. Lies, sir. If I didn't see it myself or do it myself, I call that shit APK all day.
Hacks.
Oh, you don't do 2s.
Hacks. All right. For my part, what held strong for me, Ray Swallow RJT continues requiring 2-shot or 3-shot from people. I haven't checked into it with past opponents specifically to ask about this question, and I should. But I have the feeling that my Ray being about 500 speed and not about 530 where she used to be is resulting in a measurably longer time spent them having to just piss in the wind waiting for her to pop out of ultimate. Blind theory. Anyway. Chirpa, as you said, TJ, Chirpa, Nisa, Paplu, that gave, that got 4, it took 4 attempts to clear from Brock, and let's see, it took 3 from my opponent today. That's just a killer. What else? Every single round this week has produced a hold with Finn, Zori, Resistance Hero Finn. And quite frankly, even though we would have won on banners anyway, our final round opponent here this last week, after 19 attempts, had a Finn, Zori Resistance Hero Finn standing there in the back, full everything. And that's after preloads and everything. That wasn't no withdraw or nothing. That's just after all the King's horses and all the King's men, they were full for all the trouble. Just insane. So how often have we debated the merits of Resistance Hero Finn or Rose in that team here for 3s? And man, that Finn is doing big things for me this season. So I really can't understate that. Also, as you mentioned, TJ, I had Jabba perform for me a couple times on defense as well. People got through it. It might have been a 2-shot, a 3-shot, a 4-shot, something like that. But it wasn't where they were going to lose the battle. So they knew what they were doing to eventually chunk it down. Okay. Let me see if... No, okay. We don't have any notes here from Sasha. So I think we can go to, takeaways, lessons learned. What are we, taking forward to next week? I mean... my part, I guess I already wanted, I covered those lessons. I guess I would, I got to get better about remembering that I want to do this later, damn it. But yeah, that Radis Jin Bays lesson versus Chirpa, we got to make sure that we kill those couple of guys if I wanted to do that in the future. And the DTMG just getting eaten up for free by Radis, that's going to really make me consider how I use that in week 3. aside from that, keeping in mind that Riva-led counter to Leia is a really powerful back pocket option when I'm mostly keeping those same tools anyway for their normal teams. So that kind of flexibility is really key here in threes. Can't say that I will be walking away from that anytime soon. I'd say that's about it for me. We had a lot of stuff go well for us this week, so not too much aside from that. Dagger, your lessons learned. What are you taking forward here going into week 3?
Mostly some positioning and defensive comps. So I found use of GK as we were talking earlier with Beck. And I think that's going to end up being his home in threes for me. Offense, defense, haven't decided what I'm doing with him in the last week, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I started him on defense all last week. That there's a reasonable chance I flip a couple of teams. We've talked about that before. Changed some stuff up in the last week. But I think the biggest takeaway from like just chatting with a bunch of people and just talking stuff through is, man, we not only are we in an efficiency meta, but man, if you can raise the floor of your defense, you will just print money against these opponents. I can't tell you how many times I fought against Tarful's or some random scoundrel team in this season so far.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, let me just put this team down because this, I guess, is a team. And I'm just, at this point, it's like the worst team on your board should be Zori at this point, I think. I don't know. It's such a tough thing to evaluate, but I know we've talked about this ad nauseum. But my takeaway is basically raise the floor of your defense, and you can lower the ceiling too, right? But it's keeping the floor high. Don't give them any easy teams. Giving them easy teams is like in an efficiency meta when they could just like take something they weren't going to use anyways and then beat you with it.
Yep.
That just feels bad, man.
I agree. All right. TJ, what's your lessons learned?
Talked about it. I'll go ahead and preface or follow up with what Dagger's saying. I'm not a fan of it, but it is the efficiency meta. There's just no swing about it, right? It easily goes bad and then it goes bad fast. There's no way, as much as you want to try to fight it, as much as I'll try to do anything like that, it is easy to set one too many teams, just one, and that can offset your entire GAC match, which is rough to say because then now it's like, do I keep too much or do I set too much? And with the goal, especially at the top where we're at, everybody's on the goal of everybody's going to clear everybody. And it just leads to one mistake of one slight piece that pushes you into just a dampening spot. So I've got some big plots and schemes that I want to do for next week. But even when I do it, I still have to make sure I've got a backup plan to my plan.
You said doo-doo.
Yeah. So I see no other way around it. I'll take that into stride. I've already started making some changes to a couple of key characters I think are going to pay off dividends, and some other ideas I want to do. But will I still have to go what I feel is light? I don't see how anybody's not doing that right now. And I think Dagger calls it out like perfectly when saying it's only going to get worse. I just don't see how it's going to be any other way.
Well, I mean, we've discussed this again and again. Threes has always been efficiency. And if you find, if you, friendly viewer out there, finding yourself consistently losing for want of material, you're short a team, short a couple teams, like TJ just said, like it really only takes a drop or two. Like if you don't really have yourself ironclad through the rest of the board from that, like maybe you can slop your way through a couple of teams, but otherwise that's going to start to run away from you quick. The only way to defend yourself is, first you got to scout. kind of know what you're dealing with, and then make sure that you're covered. Like, you need clean attacks, and if you think that means you got to be lighter, you got to be lighter. Otherwise, you just get space jammed, and that's like possibly 2-3 zones go uncleared for want of getting bottlenecked on like 2 teams.
To clarify, right? So what we're just talking about, like, not when you say go lighter, you're talking about essentially like what I was referring. Are you referring to what I was referring to, where you can lower your ceiling but keep your floor, or are you talking about like cheesing? Like, just clarifying question.
I feel like yours is the right call, Dagger. I think your floor being higher, and then putting these teams on. And I do agree, Zori's not a weak team, but I agree with the level of the thing like that. I got to be tricky, and when we talked about it, I laughed at it. But honestly, what do I think happened? I think my opponent didn't take 2 seconds, saw that this all works, like on my Tarful team. I'm not calling that the all end all be all. Hey, everybody go put Tarful on defense. Mm-hmm. I put a Kron on that I think caught him slipping. He saw what was in GG or insights, and then didn't take the 2 seconds. It's the same thing that caught me on Zori. I still beat the team, but not taking the 2 seconds to look at the data and look what it is, and just assuming I always use this. Well, that's my own mistake. I beat myself. I said beat myself. Yeah. I did that to myself, so I deserve the loss. So it's taking those extra couple pieces can really get you. He's right. If you can put yourself to a high point, efficiency and cheesing, I would agree with Dagger, are 2 separate contexts. I feel going too light, but I still had quality teams, and I still set down other good pieces that were in front to draw out what I could.
Yeah, there's always forks that you can do in 3 because there are 5 teams on the front wall. There's always something that you can target to fork, so that's fair.
Yeah, and just to kind of culminate, and I didn't mention this part. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to save 5-6 GLs. Just, if you're pulling a bunch of GLs.
Hope you cut out. If you're pulling a bunch of GLs,
make sure you're placing something reasonable in its place, like Gas or Star Killer or something with Savage, or right. Like make sure that you're placing something. Don't just pull GLs off for Kira Nest teams.
Yeah. Now, since you mentioned Star Killer, if people were still inclined to set that on defense, that's still EP Mara Jade, or are you here to advocate for anything else that might have reared its ugly head over the course of the season?
I think if you don't put EP MJ there, and they're all right. There's a couple of ways you can go about stopping some off counters, but basically it's really hard to stop Wampa or Bounty Hunters if you're not setting EP MJ.
Okay. All right. I feel that. All right.
There are ways to do it, but I'm not talking about those here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's beyond the scope of what we're doing. Okay. Any other lessons learned you wanted to cover, TJ? Because we kind of hijacked you there at the end.
No, it's not a hijack. I think that one, it deserved to be hijacked. That's a good discussion topic. Oh, yeah, that there is a differentiation when somebody says I play efficiency versus I cheese the shit out of a board, right? Because Absolutely. Setting all bad teams and like I'm gonna banner pinch you on this team and that team is like that's cheesy. You can play that game if you want. It's just a horrible way to play the game.
I would say that cheesing is like. It's a valid strategy in 5s. I think it's incredibly risky in 3s. And the only reason
I've seen it. Mm-hmm. Efficiency versus cheese is a different thing. I am 100% not a fan of the efficiency fight because I'm not an efficiency player. Yeah. I can slug with you all day and we can both set and see who's going to win. And I'll get through more teams than you. But on an efficiency game, I'm having to 57 everything. And then we're not talking cheap teams, except for when I got to the back. Today that was cheese. Mm-hmm. He's talking about setting Zori. That's not.
And I'm actually not. I wasn't really taking issue with anything either of you were saying.
I just had to put the differentiation out there.
No. Tash was winding up to say that if you try and cheese or do like full efficiency in 3s and you drop on a GL, it's a wrap. Unlike in 5v5, where you have.
I thought that's where I was at today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was that today.
I think that's where Tech was wanting to go.
Yeah, I agree with the point you guys made earlier that like there is a differentiation to be made, particularly in threes, between having like a high floor or actually cheesing, and that's it's yeah. I mean, if you have a dropped fight, that means you probably lost. Somebody's just gonna pulverize you and run ragged. The only reason that you could do it. The only reason that you should do it, in my view, would be if you were just so grossly outmatched and you see, like, Dagger was saying a moment ago, if you really think that you got to hold like 5-6 GLs, it is not enough that you just set teams to compensate like Gas or other strong teams, but you have to be artful in their placement. You gotta do some deep diving on the guy. You have to do some gamesmanship with that. Because your idea is you're going to try and tack some wee little nibbles of banners there while your plan, all the while is you're 57ing everything on that board because you saved the house. Yeah. That's about the only reason I could see you want to do that. Young lady, are you telling me I shouldn't be talking? Lizzie just walked up and put her hand over my mouth.
That's right. It's time to be quiet, Dad. I do agree with it. You have to be very dedicated with the decision you're going to... Like, you need to go on with a specific game plan, and every question has an answer for you to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because none of us here are cheese. Like, just, sorry. Hopefully this wraps up a little bit.
You're good. We're great on time, guys. You're fine.
Okay. None of the three of us here are cheesers, and none of the three of us particularly enjoy playing an efficiency game. I, however, have gotten to the point where it's necessary frequently due to time constraints / people having bigger accounts that I don't have the time to slop through boards, especially in threes. But and I share TJ's frustration with it. It's only going to get worse, the efficiency meta, when Bo comes out. Right, especially when we move to 5v5 and we have Gideon and Bo, and it's like, I'm throwing my hands up, right? It's just like,
and these great teams, man.
Yeah. No, all very fair points. All right. Well, pivoting away from lessons learned, any final thoughts that you guys want to leave with the folks? Let me go first because I end up wrapping this up at the end. For my part, I usually harp on the value of scouting. I specifically, man, what was it that I wanted to cover about that? I had a good point. Damn, it just ran away from me. We'll get back to me, damn it. Dagger, your last thought for the people.
If your opponent sets Cal on their Ray team, make sure you use Cat to jump the Cal and don't just try and chew down Ray to jump back.
Yeah, you do got to delete the Cal.
Talk to a couple people who did that.
I believe that. It's a terrible way to die. Yeah, there's, gosh, that can be painful.
And here's the thing, right? And I didn't even think about it. Everybody wants to do the leap on Ben. I was 100% hell-bound that I was going to do it to a fight.
Yeah.
And it was such a dumb moment that as long as it's Cat who kills him, it's still no revive, right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be the leap. So it was like, they were like, why are you doing it? Yeah, and that's it, right? It's like, I was so focused in the fight. I won with 4 seconds to go. But I was beating myself up, and people are yelling at me, why are you doing that? You can just leap on JT. It was JTR, but it wasn't Cal, right? But either way, it's like, why are you doing this and trying to get this perfect setup? Because it would not work when you can just leap JTR and then just time out your big hit on them with Cat as you're, hitting down the armor shreds and everything else like that. He's going to die from it. So it's like, just take that point. You're so focused on the fight that remember that the cron still works the way you want it to work.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so about the scout here. Gosh, what was it? It really so looking when you're doing that insight, make sure that you're checking off the thing to take off no cleanups. That will refine results. I basically had that pointed out to me for the first time this week, and that definitely helped clean up some of my
that was a good Dagger call out. Yeah, that was a very good
yeah that was a good one.
Also one more tip. When you're using Afro on offense with this cron, remember, lead with third and then use 000 basic. It'll feed her.
That was
more
another
time.
good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dagger and I had a good conversation about that. You can strategically place your if let's say that you see the AI is going after one of the other characters, you can time out when they do their basics. You don't. It doesn't have to be the patented. I'm going to use it like this. The Heinzie. It doesn't have to be special. You can time out using your basics to get her to go again to set up the next move. They're going to die fast, whatever you put them on. So you can strategically set up her to where, oh no, they're going to die. So let me time out my revive. Let me time out where I'm going to use their stuff like that. Oh, she's got another round. Let's go ahead and hold her for her cooldown.
Also, remember, if you don't have 000's Omicron, you can still kind of get that Omicron out of it, because one of the problems that the Torture has is that you, especially in 3s, it falls off them so quickly.
Yep.
You can Torture, then Basic, then he takes the turn and uses Torture again, right? So you kind of can manufacture a 2-turn Torture.
That's fair.
So you can lead with Torture and then Basic into bonus turn Torture. Or 100% Terminator Torture. Also, if you haven't used their Basic yet, Chrysanthemum shocks on his Basic, so don't do the Basic because they can't get Terminator when they're shocked.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers it. Yeah. There's always something new that I'm learning about the Scout game, but that continues to provide value, because even when my opponents change up, they're still holding that same shape. So, always do your homework, people. You know the word for me. Yeah, speak on it, Dagger.
It's been a while since you've mentioned this, but at the beginning of every season, Omega Bot yourself. Been a while since you've talked about that. Get ideas what your tendencies are, because someone's gonna scout you. They're going to see your tendencies.
Yeah.
So just at bare minimum, being aware of your own tendencies is important.
And I do not disagree with you guys in the general case. I specifically don't do that to myself for the most part, because if I'm aware of that information in my head, I start getting into this recursive loop. I just start getting mired in my head about what I want to do versus what I had previously done. And then it's like, oh, well, what am I going to do instead? And then I end up just, trudging through the mud in my brain for far too long. If it helps you, I would just say this to the people: if that helps you, do it. Absolutely do it, and see how you feel about it. Look through your tendencies, and if it helps you, good. I would only want it to help, but fair point that it gets covered, Dagger.
Also, I understand that it's hard for you to Omega Bot yourself, and you're too busy Googling yourself because you're married.
Oh, I see your reference there. I see your 30 Rock reference. I see what you're doing. All right, man. TJ?
Goofy mood tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, Dagger, you're already here. Your final thought. I think you already gave it, right? So.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. And TJ, anything else you wanted to say before we part ways?
Yeah. I'm just going to take yours, and the one thing we've talked about before, and it can bite you. I did the proper scout. I did the things like that. My opponent, you could tell, scouted and set me up in round 2, and that caught me slipping. So even though you're going to do the scout and you can think it's bulletproof, having the proper backup plan, it's 1 or 2, right? Just a couple of good backup plans can go a long way. Even if that means you have to lighten your defense for it, but if you have the one thing that can go everywhere, right? And it's not necessarily something that's going to be an ultimate stopper. Take it with you and be safe with it. There's nothing wrong to do that. It doesn't. You're not being like all of a sudden cheesier because you've taken 1 or 2 teams where these are the like Inquisitors or something else, right? That's what burned me round 2, was not having that one extra all around team for the just in case where I could have won if I just had it.
No, I dig it. Yeah, if you're getting caught out, folks. I mean, if you're being successful, stick to the script, man. But if you're getting caught out, absolutely, a little more conservative planning is going to pay out for you in the long run in 3s for sure. All right, guys. Dagger, TJ, as always, thank you both so much for making time. Here we are closing out the end of the year. It's December 18th here, a weeknight. And you guys are still finding the time with everything going on with the holidays and your families and your work winding up, hopefully, for the year. Really appreciate you guys making the time out. So thank you so much. Sasha wasn't able to join us here tonight. We'll hopefully get his notes, and I'll try to include some of his comments in the YouTube video. So look for that in the comments. We'll try and get his words in, by hook or by crook. We're gonna get them done. Otherwise, yeah. Until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome, and we'll see you for the week 3 video. Take care.